Captain Sarah Chen stood at the viewport of the International Space Station's new observation module, her eyes fixed on Saturn's rings glittering in the distance. The massive radio telescope array they'd installed last month had been picking up strange signals from that direction for weeks. At first, they thought it was just background radiation, but the patterns were too regular, too precise. "Captain, we've got movement," Lieutenant James Rodriguez called from his station. Something just appeared near the rings. Chen rushed to the monitoring station, her heart pounding. The object was massive, at least 3 kilometers long, and it definitely wasn't natural. Its surface gleamed with an otherworldly metallic sheen that seemed to absorb rather than reflect light. "Send the alert to Earth Defense Command," she ordered, keeping her voice steady despite the gravity of the situation. "And get me a direct line to Admiral Hassan." The next few hours were chaos as military forces worldwide mobilized. The object, clearly a spacecraft, remained stationary, but sensors detected intense energy readings emanating from it. Earth's major powers, for once united by a common threat, scrambled to prepare for any possibility. Admiral Karim Hassan's holographic image appeared in the station's command center. "Captain Chen, what's your assessment?" "Sir, based on its positioning and energy signature, I believe they're scanning our solar system. They're being careful, methodical. This isn't a random encounter." Hassan nodded grimly. "The Security Council agrees. We're implementing First Contact Protocol Alpha. Your station has the best view. Keep monitoring and report any changes." The alien vessel maintained its position for another 12 hours before making its move. It accelerated toward Earth with impossible speed, covering the vast distance in minutes. Military installations worldwide went on high alert, but the vessel stopped just outside lunar orbit. That's when the transmission came. "People of Earth," the message began, broadcasting simultaneously in every major language across all communication channels. "We are the Arcturus Collective. Your civilization has been identified as a potential ally against the hegemony." Chen and her crew listened intently as the aliens explained the situation. A powerful empire called the hegemony had been systematically conquering or destroying civilizations across the galaxy. The collective was gathering allies for a resistance movement, seeking species with unique abilities or perspectives that could help turn the tide. "Why us?" Admiral Hassan asked during the first official communication. "We're centuries behind you technologically." The alien representative, a being that appeared almost crystalline in structure, seemed to shimmer with amusement. "Because you are different. Your species possesses something rare. Adaptability on an unprecedented scale. While other races specialize and optimize, humans constantly change, experiment, and find new ways to solve problems. The hegemony's greatest weakness is their rigid adherence to proven methods. They cannot comprehend creatures who thrive on chaos and change." Earth's leaders debated the offer, but the decision became clear when the collective shared intelligence about the hegemony's expansion. Earth was already on their list of future targets. The choice wasn't whether to fight, but when and how. Within months, Earth's first starship was under construction, built with collective technology, but modified by human engineers who quickly grasped the underlying principles and began making improvements. The aliens were surprised and a bit unsettled by how quickly humans adapted to and modified their advanced technology. Captain Chen was selected to command this first vessel, named the Terra Nova. As she stood on its bridge for the first time, she couldn't help but smile at the irony. Humanity had dreamed of reaching the stars for centuries, and now they would, but not for exploration. They would emerge onto the galactic stage as warriors, defenders, and revolutionaries. "All systems ready, Captain," Rodriguez, now her first officer, reported. "The collective liaison says our modifications to their weapon systems are unprecedented." "They'd better be," Chen replied, watching Earth grow smaller in their view screen. "Because we're not just fighting for ourselves anymore. We're fighting for every species that's ever been told to submit, to conform, to surrender their identity to the hegemony's vision of perfection. The Terra Nova accelerated toward its rendezvous with the collective fleet, carrying with it humanity's greatest weapons: innovation, adaptability, and an unshakable determination to remain free. The galaxy was about to learn why you should never back humans into a corner. The hegemony thought they were the galaxy's greatest nightmare. They were about to learn how wrong they were. Dr. Maya Patel hadn't slept in 36 hours, but she couldn't stop now. The holographic display in her lab aboard the Terra Nova showed the captured hegemony drone's neural architecture rotating slowly in 3 dimensions. Something about its quantum processing matrix kept nagging at her. "Run the simulation again," she ordered her AI assistant. But this time, introduce random variables into the decision trees. The results made her sit up straight. That's it. Their eyes are too perfect. Within hours, she was presenting her findings to Captain Chen and the collective's strategic council. The hegemony's artificial intelligence systems are based on absolute optimization. They always choose the mathematically perfect solution. But in real combat, perfect isn't always best. Sometimes you need controlled chaos. The crystalline forms of the collective representatives shimmered with interest as she explained her proposal. By introducing controlled randomness into their own combat systems, they could make their ships effectively unpredictable to hegemony targeting computers. The first test came sooner than expected. A hegemony patrol discovered one of the collective's hidden outposts. The Terra Nova arrived just as the battle began. Implementing Chaos Protocol, Rodriguez announced from his tactical station. The ship's movement patterns shifted, becoming erratic yet controlled. Hegemony weapons, designed to predict and counter standard evasive maneuvers, couldn't track them. Their targeting efficiency is dropping, Lieutenant Yuki Tanaka reported from sensors. They're missing by increasingly wide margins. Chen watched as the hegemony ship's perfect formation began to break down. Their responses, optimized for conventional warfare, couldn't adapt to the Terra Nova's seemingly random actions. But there was nothing random about it. Every chaotic move was precisely calculated to appear unpredictable while maximizing tactical advantage. The battle ended with the hegemony ships retreating, their first defeat in that sector in centuries. But humanity's innovations were just beginning. Within weeks, Dr. Patel's team had developed what they called quantum uncertainty drives, propulsion systems that existed in multiple probable states simultaneously until observed. Hegemony sensors couldn't track what they couldn't definitively detect. Engineers began modifying collective weaponry, introducing controlled variants in beam coherence that let their shots phase through standard hegemony shields. Each innovation sparked dozens more as humans took alien technology and reimagined its possibilities. The collective's crystalline council was both impressed and unsettled. "Your species creates chaos," one observed, "yet you harness it with remarkable precision." "That's because chaos is our natural state," Chen replied. "We've spent our entire history learning to turn disorder into advantage." But the hegemony wasn't defeated yet. Reports came in of their ships appearing in new configurations, their tactics shifting. They were learning, adapting their perfect systems to account for human unpredictability. "Good," Dr. Patel said when she heard the news. "That means they're starting to think like us, and that's exactly what will bring them down." She explained to the council how the hegemony's attempts to adapt would create cascading conflicts in their optimization protocols. The more they tried to account for chaos, the more their systems would strain against their core programming. The Terra Nova proved her right in the next engagement. When hegemony ships attempted to mirror their chaotic movement patterns, their formations fell apart completely. Their perfect coordination, previously their greatest strength, became their vulnerability. "They're trying to calculate randomness," Rodriguez observed as they watched another hegemony squadron retreat. "They don't understand that true adaptation isn't about finding the perfect solution. It's about being comfortable with imperfection." As news of the victory spread, more species began reaching out to the collective. The hegemony had seemed invincible for so long that many had accepted their rule as inevitable. Now, humanity was showing the galaxy a different path. "We're not just fighting their ships," Chen told her crew after their latest victory. "We're fighting their entire worldview. They believe the universe can be perfectly controlled, every variable calculated, every outcome predicted. We're proving that the most powerful force in nature is the ability to embrace uncertainty and turn it into opportunity." The Terra Nova continued its mission, each engagement providing new data for Dr. Patel's teams to analyze and incorporate into their evolving systems. The ship itself was becoming a testament to human innovation, its originally collective systems now modified almost beyond recognition. But the hegemony was vast, and they wouldn't accept defeat easily. As reports came in of massive fleet movements and new weapon development, Chen knew the real test was still to come. Humanity had shown they could win battles with their adaptive technology and unconventional tactics. Now they would have to prove they could win a war. In the shadowy underbelly of a hegemony trading station, Commander Aisha Santos moved silently through the crowded marketplace. Her genetic camouflage, developed by Earth's biotech division, made her appear as a common Rigelian trader. She was hunting for something more valuable than any commodity: information. A hooded figure brushed past her, leaving behind a quantum-encrypted data crystal. Another resistance contact made. The underground network that humanity had built across hegemony space was growing stronger each day. Back aboard the stealth ship Shadowdancer, Santos reviewed the intelligence with her diverse crew. The ship's AI translated communications intercepted from a dozen different species, all sharing the same message. They wanted to join the fight. "The hegemony's control is slipping," her XO, a former collective scientist named Zar-El, observed. "More species are questioning their authority, especially in the outer sectors." Santos nodded. "Fear kept them in line for centuries. We're showing them something stronger than fear: hope." The resistance network operated on principles the hegemony couldn't comprehend. Instead of rigid hierarchies, it was fluid and adaptable. Each cell operated independently, but could instantly connect with others when needed, using quantum communication technology that even the hegemony's best sensors couldn't detect. Earth's diplomats worked tirelessly, turning ancient rivalries into alliances. Species that had been enemies for generations found common cause in opposing the hegemony. Humanity's greatest weapon proved to be their ability to unite diverse groups toward a common goal, while preserving each species' unique strengths. The Shadowdancer's mission took them deep into hegemony territory, contacting resistance cells and coordinating operations. They smuggled advanced technology to oppressed worlds, trained local fighters in guerrilla tactics, and gathered intelligence on hegemony movements. Their biggest breakthrough came from an unexpected source: a high-ranking hegemony scientist, disgusted by the Empire's increasing brutality, defected to the resistance. The information they brought was shocking. The hegemony's leadership was preparing to deploy planet-killer weapons against worlds that showed signs of rebellion. "They're desperate," Santos told Captain Chen during an encrypted transmission. "They're losing control, and they know it. But if they use these weapons, they'll unite the entire galaxy against them." Chen agreed. "We need to strike first. Your network is our key. How many species are ready to rise up?" "More than they know. The hegemony thinks they're maintaining order, but they're sitting on a powder keg. We've got resistance cells on every major world in their empire. They're just waiting for the signal." The plan they developed was audacious. Instead of a conventional military assault, they would trigger simultaneous uprisings across hegemony space. The Empire's forces would be overwhelmed trying to maintain control on too many fronts at once. Santos spent the next month coordinating with resistance leaders, preparing for what they called Operation Avalanche. The hegemony's strength had always been its absolute control, but that would become its weakness. Like a crystal under pressure, it would shatter along its perfect lines. The signal, when it came, was simple: a quantum pulse that rippled through the resistance network. Within hours, Thousands of worlds erupted in carefully coordinated rebellion. Hegemony communication systems were overwhelmed, their response protocols thrown into chaos by the sheer scale of the uprising. The Shadow Dancer led a fleet of stealth ships in targeting key hegemony infrastructure. Their tactics, developed through months of guerrilla operations, proved devastating against the Empire's conventional defenses. They never understood our true strength, Santos told her crew as they watched another hegemony command center fall to resistance forces. They thought humanity was dangerous because of our technology or our unpredictability. But our real power is in bringing people together, in showing them that diversity and adaptation are stronger than uniformity and control. As the revolution spread, the hegemony's perfect order crumbled in the face of countless small acts of rebellion. The empire that had ruled through fear for centuries was learning a harsh lesson. When you try to control everything, you end up controlling nothing. The galaxy was changing, and humanity had lit the spark. But the hegemony still had one card left to play, and the coming battle would determine not just humanity's fate, but the future of every species in the galaxy. Dr. Maya Patel stood before the combined council of resistant species, her quantum interface projecting a complex network of interconnected energy patterns. The hegemony's greatest weakness isn't their technology, it's their thinking. They've optimized their systems so completely that they've lost the ability to evolve. She demonstrated her latest breakthrough, a hybrid quantum neural network that could predict hegemony fleet movements with unprecedented accuracy. But unlike the Empire's rigid systems, this one learned and adapted in real time, incorporating chaos theory and human intuition. The Terra Nova, now equipped with this new technology, became a testing ground for innovations that would reshape warfare. Captain Chen watched as her ship's systems seamlessly merged human creativity with alien technology. The vessel had evolved far beyond its original collective design, becoming something entirely new. Multiple hegemony signatures detected, Rodriguez announced during their next engagement. The enemy fleet emerged from hyperspace in perfect formation. Too perfect. The quantum predictive system had already calculated their attack patterns. They're still using standard protocols, Chen observed. Execute maneuver Sigma 9. The Terra Nova split into multiple quantum states, existing simultaneously in several positions. Hegemony targeting systems, unable to resolve the quantum uncertainty, failed completely. Their perfect formation broke apart as ships fired at phantom targets. News of the victory spread through the resistance network at quantum speed. More species began adopting human innovations, merging them with their own technologies. The hegemony's once absolute technological superiority was eroding. But humanity's most significant contribution wasn't technological, it was philosophical. They taught their allies to question established limits, to experiment, to embrace failure as a path to discovery. Species that had accepted hegemony dominance for generations began developing their own unique solutions. The turning point came during the Battle of the Carina Nebula, a combined fleet of resistance ships, each incorporating different aspects of human innovation, faced the largest hegemony armada ever assembled. The Empire expected to crush the rebellion with overwhelming force. Instead, they encountered something unprecedented: perfect chaos. Each resistance ship operated independently yet in concert, their movements unpredictable yet coordinated. Quantum uncertainty drives made their positions impossible to calculate. Neural interfaces let crews react at the speed of thought. The hegemony's tactical computers, trying to process too many variables, began to fail. Their systems are overloading, Dr. Paddle reported from her station. They can't adapt fast enough to our quantum fluctuations. The battle became a demonstration of everything humanity had brought to the galaxy: innovation, adaptation, the strength that comes from diversity. The hegemony fleet, for the first time in its history, was forced into full retreat. Santos's resistance network confirmed what the quantum predictive systems had already shown. The hegemony was losing control. Their perfect empire was fracturing under the pressure of countless adaptations they couldn't predict or counter. "We've changed the rules of the game," Chen told her crew after the battle. "But the hegemony won't accept defeat easily. They'll try something desperate soon." She was right. Intelligence reports indicated the Empire was gathering its remaining forces for one final push. They would rather destroy the galaxy than lose control of it. The Resistance fleet, now grown to include ships from hundreds of species, prepared for the coming storm. Each vessel was unique, incorporating different combinations of technologies and tactics. Together, they represented everything the hegemony feared: chaos, creativity, and change. Humanity had given the galaxy more than weapons or tactics. They had shown that true strength comes not from perfection, but from the ability to adapt and evolve. The final battle would determine which philosophy would shape the future: the hegemony's rigid order, or humanity's embrace of controlled chaos. As the Terra Nova led the fleet into position, Chen reflected on how far they'd come. Humanity had entered the galactic stage as newcomers, seen as primitive by many. Now they were leading a revolution that was reshaping the very nature of civilization. The quantum sensors detected them first: 10,000 hegemony warships emerging from hyperspace, their formation spanning light years. At their center, a massive vessel unlike anything seen before, the hegemony's new flagship, carrying their planet killer weapon. Captain Chen stood on the Terra Nova's bridge, watching the tactical display as resistance ships moved into position. Their fleet was smaller but more diverse, each vessel representing a different species' contribution to the fight for freedom. "All ships reporting ready," Rodriguez announced. "The quantum network is stable. The hegemony is broadcasting," Lieutenant Tanaka reported. System-wide. The message was brief: surrender or be obliterated. The Empire had abandoned subtlety for raw power. They would rather destroy everything than lose control. Chen opened a channel to the Resistance fleet. "They think size and power are all that matter. Let's show them what adaptation can do." The battle began with a flash of quantum uncertainty. The Resistance fleet, using Dr. Patel's latest innovations, existed in multiple states simultaneously. Hegemony targeting systems, designed for conventional warfare, couldn't lock onto ships that defied traditional physics. Commander Santos' intelligence network proved invaluable. Resistance cells on hegemony ships activated sabotage protocols, disrupting their perfect formations. The Empire's strength, absolute control, became their weakness as chaos spread through their ranks. The massive hegemony flagship moved into firing position, its planet killer weapon charging. But humanity had planned for this: quantum-entangled demolition charges, planted months ago by Santos operatives, detonated simultaneously across the vessel's power grid. "Their weapon is destabilizing," Dr. Petal reported. "The quantum cascade is spreading through their fleet." The hegemony's desperate gamble had backfired. Their ships, linked by rigid control protocols, couldn't isolate themselves from the cascade. One by one, their systems failed as quantum uncertainty corrupted their perfect order. The Resistance fleet pressed the advantage. Each ship fought differently, using tactics the hegemony couldn't predict or counter. Species that had been enemies for generations worked in perfect concert, their diversity becoming strength. Chen watched as the Empire's formation crumbled. This is what they never understood. True power isn't about control. It's about adaptation. About working together while maintaining what makes each of us unique. The battle ended not with the bang of conquest, but with the whisper of chains breaking. Across the galaxy, hegemony control systems failed. Enslaved worlds reclaimed their freedom. The perfect empire shattered under the weight of countless small acts of defiance. In the aftermath, representatives from hundreds of species gathered to build something new. Not an empire of control, but a federation of equals. Humanity, the newcomers who had changed everything, were offered a leadership role. Chen declined on Earth's behalf. "We didn't fight to replace one system of control with another. We fought so every species could choose its own path while working together for the common good." The Terra Nova returned to Earth, its mission complete, but its legacy just beginning. Humanity had entered the galactic stage as primitives and emerged as revolutionaries, teaching the cosmos that strength comes not from perfection, but from embracing change. Dr. Patel's quantum technologies spread throughout the Federation, not as weapons, but as tools for exploration and understanding. Santo's resistance network became a foundation for interstellar cooperation, and the lessons humanity had taught about adaptation, diversity, and the power of controlled chaos became principles for a new era of galactic civilization. They called us their nightmare, Chen reflected, watching Earth grow larger in the viewscreen. But we became something better, a dream of what's possible when you're not afraid to change. The galaxy would never be the same, and that was exactly what humanity had fought for.